of living. Yes, he did. I've been changed. Yes, I've been changed. Jesus changed me. Places that I used to go, I don't go there no more. Does he change me? I can love everybody. I've been changed. So I know what you're singing about. Lord, you changed me a long time ago. I know you can change anyone. Since he changed me. Oh yeah. You gotta do is go to him and love everybody. Yeah. Sure, I know it's been hard sometimes, man. But since God changed you, everything gonna be all right. Yeah. I want you to change me. Change my mind. He can do it anyway. I'm thinking of better. Change me, change my heart, Lord. You can do it anyway. I want to love everybody. Change my life. Yes, change me, Jesus. Those old places I used to hang out, I just don't go there no more. I don't have a mind to go where I used to go. Change my mind, Lord. New way of going places. I know. Sister Lord changed me. He changed. I know what you're saying, Joe. I know what you're talking about. Me. Yes, he did. Yes, he did. Oh, I'm glad he changed me. Oh, I'm glad he changed me too. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I thank you, Jesus. Thank you for changing me. Yeah. Oh, I'm not the same no more. No. I'm not like I used to be. I gotta lift my hands. You changed me. You changed me. Oh yeah. You changed me. You changed me. Thank you, Jesus. Yeah, you did.
Would you like to hear your company or church announcements or church broadcast on the airwaves of WHA? You can call our business office at 609-641-8870 for further details.
Mom, this cookout's whack.
Just play with your phone.
Anthony Brown songs, new version, Blessings on Blessings.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is not a drill. It's the B.O.B. bounce. And it's about to get real. Let's go. It's about to get real. Let's go. It's about to get real. It's about to get It's about to get real. All my blessed people, report to the dance floor. All my blessed people, report to the dance floor. All my blessed people, report to the dance floor.
I don't know it. What you about to learn?
All my blessed people, report to the dance floor. All my blessed people, report to the dance floor. All my blessed people, report to the dance floor. Step, 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 step up. Back stand still, matter of fact. Shout. Everywhere you look, you got a blessing on the way. Step up. Back stand still, matter of fact. Shout. Everywhere you look, you got a blessing on the way. Turn it out to the right. Clap, clap, step up and watch God. Step back and watch God. Turn it out to the left. Clap, clap. It's a new direction with a brand new blessing. Step up. Back stand still, matter of fact. Shout. Everywhere you look, you got a blessing on the way. Step up. Back stand still, matter of fact. Shout. Everywhere you look, you got a blessing on the way. Turn it out to the right. Clap, clap, step up and watch God. Step back and watch God. Turn it out to the left. Clap, clap. It's a new direction with a brand new blessing. Step up. Back stand still, matter of fact. Everywhere you look, you got a blessing on the way. Step up. Back stand still, matter of fact. Everywhere you look, you got a blessing on the way. Turn it out to the right. Clap, clap, step up and watch God. Step back and watch God. Turn it out to the left. Clap, clap. me. Just look at me. Just look at me. Don't hate, take it up with God. He did it. Just look at me. Just look at me. Just look at me. Don't hate, take it up with God. He did it. Just look at me. Just look at me. Just look at me. Don't hate, take it up with God. He did it. Just look at me. Just look at me. Just look at me. Now stop. Humble is the way. Stay low. The lower you get, the more God's gonna bless you. The lower you get, the more God's gonna bless you. The lower you get, the more God's gonna bless you. Praises go up, the blessings come back down. The lower you get, the more God's gonna bless you. The lower you get, the more God's gonna bless you. The lower you get, the more God's gonna bless you. Step, 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 step up. Back, stand still, matter of fact. Everywhere you look, you got a blessing on the way. Step up, back, stand still, matter of fact. Everywhere you look, you got a blessing on the way. Turn it out to the right, clap, clap, step up and watch God. Step back and watch God. Turn it out to the left, clap, clap. It's a new direction with a brand new blessing. Up, back, stand still, matter of fact. Everywhere you look, you got a blessing on the way. Up, back, stand still, matter of fact. Everywhere you look, you got a blessing on the way. Turn it out to the right, clap, clap, step up and watch God. Step back and watch God. Turn it out to the left, clap, clap. It's a new direction with a brand new blessing. Up, back. Everywhere you look, you got a blessing on the way. Up, back. Everywhere you look, you got a blessing on the way. Turn it out to the right, clap, clap, step up and watch God. Step back and watch God. Turn it out to the left, clap, clap. It's a new direction with a brand new blessing. That's grace on my side.
Gospel 88.7 WEHA. It's more than music. It's ministry.
WEHA, Port Republic, Atlantic City, and now on FM translator 100.3 W262CF, Atlantic City.
This is George C.
Hi, this is Super Steph.
This is Lisa Diane Hall.
Hey, it's me, Professor J.
This is Rose.
Hey, this is Bishop John Gandy.
Hi, this is Tawana Davis.
Hi, this is Thelma Witherspoon.
Hi, this is Tamaya J.
Hey, this is Sister Girl.
Hi, this is Tehran.
Hi, this is Evangelist Lanyel.
Hey, this is Chris.
Hi, this is Delrita Hawks.
Hi, I'm Christine Hawks Washington.
Hey, this is Lady Praise.
Hi, I'm El Presidente. Wishing you a very Merry Christmas and a blessed New Year from all of us here at Gospel 88.7 FM WEHA.
WEHA is a listener-supported radio station. To make a donation, call 609-641-8870. Visit our headquarters at 3 Canal Drive, Egg Harbor Township, New Jersey, 08234. Or log on to our website, wehavegospel.com.
We have gospel.
If you just tune in, you're listening to In the Community with Dr. Thelma Witherspoon right here in your favorite gospel radio station, WEHA Gospel 88.7, 100.3 FM. We have gospel. We are live in the studio on today, and we have a wonderful program for you. This broadcast has been brought to you and being sponsored by the Hawks family businesses who have been serving our community for over 30 years, and Beacon Hall, turning moments into memories. And last but not least, God's Gift CEO, Grace Crump Holly. Thank you so much for sponsoring my radio program In the Community with Dr. Thelma Witherspoon. So we are very excited. I want to first say Happy New Year. I can't believe it. We're ending a decade and going into a new decade. And I'm just so excited for 2020. We have ended the year strong here at WEHA, and we certainly want you to be a part of it. Listen, don't forget, this is the last week to vote for us and being us in the Stellas in the small market category. And so we need you to go to our website, WEHA Gospel. We have www.wehavegospel.com, and all you got to do is click vote. Boom, that's it. And we want to bring back that third Stella to you, back to South Jersey. So we need you to do what you do best and vote and support WEHA. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for all of our supporters and how you have supported WEHA and also me and all of the shows all year long. I really, really, absolutely appreciate it. I'll say that again because I don't want you to forget to vote for us, WEHA, okay, for the Stellas. All right, you don't even have to go to the Stella website. Just go to our website, www.wehavegospel.com, and click vote. It's just that simple. All right, you can do it on your phone, you can do it on your computer, you can do it on your iPad. Thank you so very, very much. I want to also say Happy Kwanzaa for everyone who celebrates Kwanzaa. It's not a religious holiday, but it's a social holiday that brings awareness, especially in the African American community, and it's celebrated by many people. And today is the third day, Ujima, which is the commitment to active and informed togetherness on matters of common interest. And one thing that is common interest, I would say, in the African American would be economic development. In the African American interest, we all have a common interest on doing better, especially in the upcoming year. So things, sometimes you got to make some changes. What you did, a few years ago or last year or last week, you have to make some changes in order for there to be some improvement in 2020. Don't talk about it, as the young people used to say. Let's be about it. And then they cock their head to the side, period. All right? So we don't want to just talk about it. We want to be about it, right? All right. And so we're excited about that and things that are going on in our community. I was trying to find out because someone wanted to know about the groundbreaking of ShotRite in Atlantic City. I have not been able to get that information, but I promise you by the next show, I'll have when the groundbreaking for the ShotRite will be in Atlantic City. I do want to announce, however, the swearing in for the freeholders will be done on January the 7th at 4:00 p.m. at the Superior Court Building in Mays Landing. And the Honorable, all of the freeholders will be sworn in, but the Honorable Ernest D. Coursey will be sworn in also at the 1st District. So everyone who won, I believe Amy Gatto won, and Freeholder Coursey, and I know I should know the third person, but it just gets me at this moment. But all of the freeholders who won their election will be sworn in on January the 7th. And that swearing in is open to the public. So if you want to go, do go. I went the last time he was sworn in, and I intend to go this time when he is sworn in for Atlantic County freeholder. So we're very proud of him and everyone who's out there doing something and making a difference in our community. And that's what this show is about on today is, everybody can do something. You don't have to do a whole lot or on a large scale, but everybody can do something to make a difference in their community. And certainly WEHA is one who's done that also for I don't know how many years, but it's been a number of years. They've sponsored the Christmas, I believe, at South Main School, and just bought a present for everyone. I think that's beautiful, making a difference in the community. So I'm really excited about what WEHA has been doing, and the Hawks family. It was a Hawks Family Businesses who happen to own WEHA. But I always talk about WEHA because that's, I'm on the radio. But however, we were very happy that they were doing this, and they do it without making noise about it. And that's what makes it great. A lot of times people do things and they want everybody to know what they done. And if you want everybody to know about it, you already got your reward. But when you do things in secret, you haven't gotten your reward. So they've been doing this for many years and not making no noise about it. But I'm just excited about, what they have done in our community and what you continue to do, whoever's doing what you're doing. So today we're going to talk about it. We have an interview today with Grace, with God's Gift. God's Gift. And it is a spinoff on Kingdom Academy, but it's a separate entity. And in the studio, I'm going to introduce Grace Crump Holly, who's not only been a supporter of WEHA, she's been a supporter of In the Community, and I really appreciate that. I'm going to let her introduce the people that she has here. I just need you to bring that mic over. I just noticed that. Sorry about that, y'all. But Grace Crump Holly, and I want you to introduce everyone that you have in that you brought along with you on today.
Absolutely. Good morning. I just want to thank the Hawks family for inviting us to be on your show on today. We're very grateful to be here to talk about God's Gift. I have with me today the president, who happens to be my son, Dante Holly, and I also have one of the board of directors, which is Melissa Murillo. And so I brought them along with me to, I've been under the weather a little bit, so I need a little help.
No problem.
And we want to give as much information as we can on today as to what we're doing in the community.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. And as I first stated, thank you so much for being a part of my radio program today. And certainly we're ending the year strong.
Yes, absolutely.
Ending the year strong. And a lot of people think, well, if I can't do nothing as large as Sister Jean's Kitchen, who's doing a great job, or the Mission, or Lang City Mission, or the Salvation Army, I can't do anything. And that's not true.
That's not true.
And everybody can make a difference and make an impact. And certainly, I want to talk about how did God's Gift come about. I think I've been a part, some way, somehow,
yes,
of God's Gift since the inception.
Yes.
So, but I believe it started with your son.
It did.
Dante, the president.
It did, the president.
So
yes.
We want to talk to the president. President, how did you come up with this idea?
Good morning, Thelma. How you doing?
I'm doing good.
Awesome. So I mean, when it came to God's Gift, it was something that it just came up in the right time at the right moment. A few years ago, I had got some world-renowned acclaim for naming Kanye West's album, and with that, I was like, people are focusing more on this Kanye thing and less about what's happening in our community. And I was like, it's crazy. People are actually losing their lives over sneakers every day. And, I was like, I think we should do something to highlight this and to show that, material things are, less important than a human life. So what we did was we partnered with Souls for Souls, another nonprofit. We needed someone with legit ability, something that, a lot of people, they go out here and they do things, but they don't have the right backing. So we wanted to do something where we had the right backing. And, we were able to collect 1,000 sneakers. We had 15 different drop-off locations, like Boys and Girls Club, POW, Mount Zion Church, things like that. A lot of awesome partners. And, with that, we were able to do a 5K race on the Atlantic City Boardwalk.
I remember that.
Yes. And actually, you were one of the speakers.
Yes, I was. I
yes.
forgot about that part.
And my first time at WEHA was actually here promoting it. So that's funny. Now we're back here.
Yeah, several years later, because how long have you been in operation
now? About 2 years now. So, actually 3 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, 3. It's been 3. In the past 3 years, we've been able to accomplish, of course, the shoe drive, 2 5K races, and this year we've driven more of the focus towards the resource center that we have, and that provides clothing and also food for women and children and things like that. The Pleasantville community.
Absolutely. Now, you know what? I think I vaguely remember, and you can bring it back to me, that what I'm not gonna say bothered you, but had you concerned was that your mom, y'all had a fire.
Yeah.
No one was concerned about the fire. Everybody was concerned about the sneakers.
Yeah.
Yeah, what you had done with Kanye West. And by the way, you're a music producer, right?
Yes, I am.
All right, so congratulations on that. You're a young man. You're doing a whole lot of positive things, and I believe you go on tour.
Yes, I go on tour every year with a lifestyle brand that I'm a partner in called Wise Guy USA, and we do a lot of creative pop-ups across the country, in Miami, New York, LA, everywhere. So that's very exciting. We do that, all from the muscle because we are a young startup. So, a lot of people don't take into account how hard that is, doing stuff out of your own pocket. So that's also something that I do as well.
All right, absolutely. And you've been absolutely serving the community. And I think it started with your mom. How did you get the idea to even start to serve?
Realistically, my mom, God's gift was something that she always wanted to get started. But, I feel like with the whole 5K and the whole kind of thing kind of sparked it,
Right.
And what God says is, when the iron's hot, you got to strike. So I was like, I would be a fool not to take advantage of, publicity and people paying attention and make them pay attention for the right thing. So.
Absolutely.
All right, now I'm going to tell everybody now, although you had the 5K run, I didn't run. Years ago, I tried to participate in the 5K run, and I didn't realize you had to be conditioned.
Oh, super conditioned. It's not something you can just wake up and be like, okay, I'm going on this 5K. You might pass out that way.
Well, I did that. And needless to say, it was a very embarrassing moment. And I was out of town, and I said, I'm going to participate in the 5K run. And I went out and bought all the gear, had my headband. Oh, I looked super good. I was representing. And I started out. And when all the senior citizens passed me, I quit. But you had it, and it was successful, and it was on the Lang City Boardwalk. It was up at the Kennedy Plaza.
Yes, it was.
And you started, and it was just a great event. Promoted. It also promoted Atlantic City, and I really liked that.
Yeah.
What you were doing, and it was positive, which shows that all young people out there are not gangbanging.
Yeah. Oh, not on this end.
Not on this. Yeah.
I wasn't raised that way.
Yeah, but everybody, there are some people out there doing some positive things.
Yes,
all right. So,
absolutely.
how did you come up with the name God's Gift?
My mom can speak more on God's gift.
Okay, so as you said, when you talk about God's gift, you have to talk about Kingdom Academy, okay? Because God's gift is actually the nonprofit component of Kingdom Academy. Kingdom Academy is actually the sponsor for God's gift. All right, and so we're able to not only provide the food pantry for everyone,
right,
but we also have the clothing for the women and children, and we're able to even do sponsorships and scholarships. We have a certain budget for the year that we want to give back to the community.
Well, in case people don't know who Kingdom Academy. What is Kingdom Academy?
Kingdom Academy is a preschool and childcare. We have several facilities in Pleasantville, and we've been doing that for over 25 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you're not a fly by night?
No.
So you've been in over 25 years. You've been in
that's
business.
That's correct, yes.
And then out of this was God's gift was birthed.
Yes. To do more for the community, and for not just for the parents and not just people that are affiliated with Kingdom Academy, but for the community at large. We're trying to encourage the community that there is help.
Right.
There is help. And we're open just twice a month on the second and fourth Thursday of the month, from 11 to 2 o'clock. But we meet a lot of needs within that time. And I do want to say this. I do want to say that if there is a need and we're not open on that day, you can always call and say, listen, I need some help. I need some assistance. And we'll gladly take care of you by appointment.
Absolutely.
So I do, what I want to do, I want to definitely give all the information that I can about God's gift. I'm going to go right from the brochure, okay, because it gives you, information. We're at 1033 North Main Street in Pleasantville.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, on the second and fourth Thursday of the month from 11 to 2. The phone number is at 609-484-9430. And our vision is each of you should be concerned not only about your own interests, but about the interests of others as well. And that comes out of Philippians 2:4.
Yes.
And that our mission, he answered them, whoever has 2 shirts should share with the person who doesn't have any. Whoever has food should share it too. And that's out of Luke 3:11. Our purpose is, to have faith and hope, encouragement, enrichment, and restoration. Amen. And we're advocating for our women, children, and families. We're Resource Center, again, sponsors, sponsorships and scholarships, domestic violence referrals, emotional and physical. If there's issues there, we know we can help you with that.
Let's talk about that a minute, because you have a lot of people who are dealing with domestic violence.
Yes.
And I was watching the Bobbitt story last night, and when I was looking at it, they were talking about the husband didn't consider himself a batterer because he didn't physically punch her.
Right.
But the name calling, the pushing, the shoving, the emotional, that's huge.
That's worse than the physical.
Yeah.
You can heal from the physical, but you continue to hear that over and over again, all of that derogatory, negative talk, names that you were called, and that sticks with you.
Right.
That sticks with you. And that's very hard to get over every time. You feel like a failure. You feel like you're not good enough. That is, let me tell you something, that can destroy a person. That, we know that the enemy tries it every way that he can to rob, steal, and destroy us, and that's one of the ways.
So why did Kingdom Academy God's Gift decide to make that a part of their component?
Because we deal with a lot of women, and we see it. Even if they don't tell us, we can see it.
Right.
We can see what's going on, with the different families. We're like family. We're one big family. And you get to know people when you're dealing with them on a regular basis. And you can tell when something is not right, when something is off.
Right.
Even with the children, by the way that the children behave. And how, we're like, what's going on? Because, this is not who that person is.
Right.
That's not the norm for this family. Something's going on. We can always detect that. So that's definitely, we have women, a lot of women. Let me tell you something. This thing is huge. And so we wanted to get involved in that way to let them know that there's help in that area as well.
Now, do you refer them to?
We refer them, and we have someone on board that actually has the training.
Right. That's great.
Yeah. So, we do the mentorship, the faith-based mentorship with that, and we're open to the public, like I said, encouraging the community, and we feel like that we should love our neighbors as ourselves.
Right.
In Matthew 22:39 tells us that, and we're powered by a board of directors and dedicated volunteers. All right, we're motivating the women, the children, and the families. And I've got to, tell you about our board of directors and our volunteers, because without them, we can't do it. It takes a team. There's no one-man show here. And as you can see, these young people behind the scenes, who would know? you know.
Right.
So I do want to just take this opportunity for one moment just to thank a few people publicly. You know, I want to honor them. It's a dynamic team of people, and that would be Dante Holly, President, Kevin Crump, Kareem Crump, Melissa Murillo, Elder Nathan Hoskins, Evangelist Wastella Johnson, Evangelist Nadine Hood, and our newest board member, 2020, would be Sister Michelle O'Bannon. And so that is the board member. Now, as far as the coordinator, that would be Karen Lovelace. We've got Lady Patricia Whitaker, who's one of the volunteers, Coretta Jones, Missionary Margaret Coleman, Sister Bobby Borkin, and Sister Jamira Corbett. So as you can see, there are a lot of people behind the scenes. And also, I've got to thank Bishop Luke Witherspoon and Pastor Juanita Witherspoon, who were very instrumental in and made a great impact in this endeavor, and also yourself, who is on the board as well. Amen. So we really do appreciate it. We want to give a shout out even to those people who have donated their time and clothing donations. Also, Torrid Clothing Store, the Red Door, the Women's Center. All these people are involved in making this an effective movement.
Right.
So we just want to thank everyone and everyone involved that I talked about. And if I missed anyone, I'm sorry. But thank everybody, even for just supporting. And, you know, our efforts are not in vain. They're not in vain. So we do appreciate it. We even thank those who want to donate who haven't donated as of yet.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Now I have Michelle O'Bannon. Mm-hmm. She just said this is a much needed community service.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. She thought it was a secret. God's gift is no longer a secret in Pleasantville.
Amen.
It wasn't a secret, but I think it was just the fact that getting started, getting the word out. And this is one reason why I wanted to make sure that you came on our program to talk about the good work that you were doing in the Pleasantville area and in our community. And what I want to say too is that God's gift is not just for Pleasantville.
No.
Anyone that comes, you have been able to help or assist in different types of ways. And sometimes people don't need a lot of help.
That's correct.
They just need a little bit of help, a little helping hand. And you're doing a phenomenal job.
We appreciate it. Thank you.
Melissa, now you've been on the board. So what would you say about God's gift?
Good morning,
Good
Thelma.
morning.
Thank you for having us, and thank you, WHA, for having us as well. My name is Melissa. Apart from being on the board of God's Gift, I actually am a family support worker with Healthy Families of Atlantic County. So I've been really blessed to have an effective resource as God's gift to be able to share with my families. Our families, they look for fellowship, they look for a food pantry, they look for somebody who they can go to, who they can rely on for these resources. So I do want to thank God's Gift for being a really effective resource for my agency.
Absolutely. Listen, there are over 280,000 people that live in Atlantic County.
Yes.
And you have a lot of wonderful organizations that are out there doing it. But sometimes you miss people.
Absolutely.
And there's enough for everybody to do something and to help someone.
Yes.
You know, sometimes people feel like, well, we've been doing it for years. Well, yes, you've been serving a certain population. Mm-hmm. And there will be people that they reach that you won't reach, but there'll be people you reach.
Yes.
That those other organizations will never reach. And like you
Yes.
say, you come in contact all the time with families that need resources. And I believe you have, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but that may not be a part of God's gift. If people need help on their utilities.
Yes, that's
Let's
correct.
talk about that.
Okay, that's correct. You may be able to come in and apply for assistance with your gas, electric, and water. And so you would come into to Kingdom Academy, and you would talk to Karen, who also coordinates that, and she will qualify you, tell you what it is that you need, and we'll submit that information and go from there.
Right. So you are a resource center. All right, and so you're helping not just the spiritual from that, but the total person.
The total package.
It's a total package. And sometimes people are only concerned about one package of you.
Yeah.
You know, but Kingdom Academy and God's Gift covers multiple things that people could be dealing with.
That's correct.
Whether it's your utilities. I know someone who just hadn't had utilities for a long time. And looking at the person, you cannot look at a person and say what a person doesn't need. You don't know.
That's right.
You don't know what people are dealing with.
That's right.
You know, and so sometimes you have to break down your pride when there are things that are available and come and get assistance.
Yeah.
Now, I remember I'm going to tell this story before we go on break. I think I got a minute. I remember years ago, I was going through some difficult times and I needed some help. Atlantic County welfare has improved. But I went there. They didn't have God's Gift. They didn't have different agencies that you could go to.
Yes.
It took a lot for me to walk in there.
Yeah.
I was very proud. I'm a minister's daughter. I'm not going to talk negative about my ex, but things had happened.
Sure.
Situation had happened.
Sure.
And I wasn't in a great position. And I needed some help. My gas was off. And I didn't tell my parents. You know, I could have, but I just didn't. Probably pride. And I was trying to do it all on my own. So I went for some help. And I repeated my story 25 times. I counted it. And it was so much that I felt like spitting in the person's face. But I knew I couldn't because I had a 7-year-old daughter at the time.
Yes.
And the main thing was to get the help that I needed. I eventually got it, but the humiliation that I went through for a $200 gas voucher was a lot. And I want to say that if you're out there helping people, this is what I like about God's Gift and Kingdom Academy. You don't look down on people. You don't tell them, you know, well, why are you here? You shouldn't be in this position. You don't know what causes people to be in the position. And I had a lot of pride, still do. So for me to walk into there to even ask for the help took a lot for me to do.
Absolutely.
And so I tell people when that's one reason why I'm compassionate, and that's one reason why my show is the way it is. I look for resources because when I really needed them, I didn't know where to go.
Yeah.
I didn't know who to talk to.
Yeah.
You know, so having God's Gift is a blessing in the community, and the people will not be made to feel belittled.
No.
Now, the county has changed. It's not like that. I'm saying what happened 30 years ago.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like 20, 25, 20, 30 years ago.
Right.
But it was hard.
Yeah.
You know, and when people are going through, the last thing you need is somebody putting their foot on you.
Exactly. And you know what? That's one of the reasons why I don't believe in taking pictures.
I don't either.
I don't believe in doing that. Because it's hard enough for you to come as it is, and then for you to be splattered all over Facebook or somewhere or whatever. That's I think that's their business, and we try to keep it private.
I can appreciate that.
Yeah.
You know, it's degrading.
Yeah, absolutely.
We done a lunch on Christmas, and it was nothing new, but it's something that we hadn't done in years.
Yeah.
But I wasn't taking pictures of the people.
That's
you know,
right.
You don't do that.
You don't do that.
I don't do that.
I don't either.
All right. Well, we're getting ready for a break, and we're going to be right back. Keep those dials locked to WEHA.
Hi, this is George C.
Hi, this is Super Steph.
This is Lisa Diane Hall.
Hey, it's me, Professor J.
This is Rose.
Hey, this is Bishop John Gandy.
Hi, this is Tawana Davis.
Hi, this is Thelma Witherspoon.
Hi, this is Tamaya J.
Hey, this is Sister Girl.
Hi, this is Tehran.
Hi, this is Evangelist Laniel.
Hey, this is Chris.
Hi, this is Delrita Hawks.
Hi, I'm Christine Hawks Washington.
Hey, this is Lady Praise.
Hi, I'm El Presidente. Wishing you a very Merry Christmas and a blessed New Year from all of us here at Gospel 88.7 FM WEHA.
You are listening to Christ Centered, Community-focused, listener-supported gospel. 88.7 and 100.3 FM, Atlantic City WEHA. Don't forget to follow us on social media by searching We Have Gospel on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. Find out more at www.wehavegospel.com.
It only takes a minute to find out if you may have prediabetes, and you can do it at doihaveprediabetes.org. But you're probably not going to. Nope. I'm sure you've got a perfectly good excuse. Kids, work. I get it. You're busy. So what better time than now? Let's begin. Raise one finger if you're a man. Ladies, none yet. Oh, count in your head if you're driving. Now, 3 more fingers for everyone over 60, 2 over 50, 1 over 40, 1 more if you're not physically active, another finger if anyone in your family has type 2 diabetes, another if you've got high blood pressure. If you're overweight, raise another finger, 2 if you're very overweight, and 3 if you're really overweight. You've just taken the world's first audio prediabetes test. And if you're holding up 5 or more fingers, visit doihaveprediabetes.org or talk to your doctor. There's no excuse because prediabetes can be reversed.
Brought to you by What's the difference between going to Atlanticare's Comprehensive Stroke Center and going anywhere else? It's the difference between watching your grandkid ride a bike and teaching him how to ride. It's the difference between seeing your daughter get married and walking her down the aisle. It's the difference between losing what you love and living for it. When it comes to treating stroke, the difference between going anywhere else and going to Atlanticare is everything. We're the only healthcare program with a neurocritical care team available 24/7. We have a diagnostic neuroimaging lab, and our neurosurgeons are always ready to operate if needed. And we meet the toughest standards to be a designated comprehensive stroke center. Why are we offering world-class stroke care right here?
Mrs. Thomas, your husband is in the right hands.
Because the difference is worth it. To see the difference, visit atlanticare.org/stroke
I want
care.
to thank my mommy for loving me so much, for taking me out to the park, for reading me books, for taking me to the doctor when I broke my foot in ballet rehearsal,
For leaving me alone when I wanted to be alone.
And now, as a grown-up, I'm thankful for being able to take care of you, my dear mom, for having the chance to take you to the park, for reading you those books we enjoy so much, for being able to take you to your therapies after you twisted your ankle, for understanding that sometimes you simply want to be alone.
Roles change without us noticing. And in your new role, we help you help. Visit aarp.org/caregiving to get practical health and wellness tips to provide even better care for your loved one. Remember, visit aarp.org/caregiving. AARP. We help you help. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP
The second
and the Ad
best
Council.
thing about driving home is listening to WEHA. The best thing is getting there. And that's why I'm glad when I finally get home, I can listen to WEHA on my computer. It's easy. All you have to do is go to wehavegospel.com. Not only can I hear the station, I can also see what's playing at the time, as well as what has already played before. You know, sometimes I'll hear a song on the radio and I want to know the name of the song and where I can get it from, you know. And when I need to go to another website, I can always use the pop-out player to keep WEHA playing in the background while I browse the web. They make it so easy for me at wehavegospel.com. You got to check it out.
Tune into In the Community with Thelma Witherspoon, Saturdays 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. on Gospel 88.7 FM. If you just tune in, you listen to In the Community with Dr. Thelma Witherspoon right here on your favorite gospel radio station, WEHA Gospel 88.7, 100.3 FM. We have gospel. This broadcast has been brought to you by the Hawks family businesses who have been serving our community for over 30 years. And Beacon Hall, turning moments into memories. And God's Gift, CEO Grace Crump Holly, President Dante Holly. We want to thank you, and board member Melissa. Can't say your last name right, but thank you all for being here and being a part of In the Community and for your support. I just want to say, while we were out, we got a couple people who wrote in on Facebook. Thank you for tuning in on that. Margaret Coleman said, "It is an honor to be a part of God's gift." And while Stella E. Johnson said, "Yes, it's an honor that God's gift gives you the community to do what God wants." So we want to thank those who are listening to WEHA and on Facebook Live. We want to continue with our conversation and with our interview. So Dante, I want to ask you, do you have any upcoming events for God's gift?
Yeah, for sure. So, we're really excited for our upcoming 2020 season. In 2020, one thing I do want to mention is that, God's gift, we are still, a young company, so we're still expanding. So for 2020, I definitely want to, shout out and extend a branch to all upcoming businesses and other organizations who would like to collaborate because, and also people who would like to intern and help out and volunteer. Because without you guys, none of this is possible. So, the things that we have planned for 2020 are pretty exciting. We do want to revisit the 5K run again, for sure, bring that back. I guess we'll come back up here again with the date for that. And another thing is that we're doing is that we're starting a vision board party to kick off the year in January. So I guess I'll let Sister Grace elaborate more on that.
Okay.
On the vision board aspect.
That's very good. And before we go to vision board, I want to talk to Melissa and about her, where she works and what they offer.
Yeah. So hello again. Good morning. My agency is Healthy Families of Atlantic County. So we're actually a home visiting program where, as a family support worker, I'm visiting families where they are. A big thing about resources is about accessibility. Is it accessible to the family? Can the family get there? So we drive to the families throughout of Atlantic County, and we have a diverse group of families that need a lot of different things, whether it be emotional support. Maybe they got everything in the fridge, but they need to learn about parenting education, or they just need that that extra support. So our families have been really into resources where family, food pantries, they need fellowship, and I've really been blessed to have fallen into the hands of God's gift, and being on the e-board, I've been effectively sharing that resource with them. So they're coming every second and fourth Thursday of the month. They are calling in or asking about different clothings. They're looking for scrubs, whether it be they're in a CNA program, they need scrubs. We provided that for them. Maybe we have mothers that are looking for size 2T clothing, and they can come and go to God's Gift and find that there. It's always great to call beforehand, but we really do strive to provide that for them. And I've been blessed to share, such a great resource with my families. Being part of Healthy Families.
Now, Healthy Families, if people wanted to be, how do they find out about that?
Yeah, so Healthy Families, we serve all mothers, expecting mothers, new mothers, whether, whatever kind of mother you are, however many children you have, it doesn't matter your age, it is a free and voluntary program. You can self-refer, you can give us a call, you can look up Healthy Families of Atlantic County. Our agency name is Southern New Jersey Perinatal Cooperative. You can find us on the web. We are located at 605 West California Avenue in Absecon. You can give us a call. We can share that information with you. We'd like to enroll moms that are expecting or have a child up to 6 months. Sometimes we do make exceptions, but we are blessed to be with the family until their child turns 4 years old. And that is great because we're providing the tools, the resources for that family, and then we're letting them go. So we're holding their hands until they feel like they're strong enough to break apart from the program, whether it be a year, 6 months in, 3 years in, we're with them all the way.
Yeah, you know what? And I think that's a great organization. What is the telephone number?
The telephone number, I'm sorry, I did not have that handy.
Okay, well, while you're talking about it, the reason why I would say it's a good, is it just for young mothers or is it for
It's for all mothers.
Because I was watching, I believe, the news, and I saw a young mother, and she had a son that was disabled. And she got frustrated, took the kid and left him at the hospital. They charged her for abandonment. But then the community came together and said, we failed her. because she didn't have resources
Right.
to help her, with a disabled
Yes.
child. And it's
Mhm.
one thing dealing with a child and they don't have no disabilities, but when you got a kid that has disabilities, that's a whole different level
Yeah.
of help, So, okay, you have the number?
Yeah.
What is the
but
number?
It's great. I wanted to say for the mothers that are struggling with children who do have disabilities, we do like to provide that developmental education to make sure that their child isn't delayed. So we do outsource and connect them to other involvements or treatments that the child might need. So we're great with preventing that issue as well. I want to say that the Atlantic County office number is 609-345-6420.
Thank you. Repeat that one more time. 609.
609-345-6420.
Okay, thank you so much for that information. So if you're out there and you are a mom and you're struggling, or is it for just moms or dads?
So actually we have had dads where they have custody of
Right.
of the child. All you need is to be the parent of that child, whether you be the father advocate or the non-biological mother. We do meet with the grandparents, sometimes the babysitter.
Okay,
as well.
that's good. That's good information. It's good stuff. Nadine Hood says God's gift is doing a wonderful job in the community. Now we want to talk about is the president, Dante Holly. I like saying that, president. Dante Holly was talking about there's another component that's coming up for 2020, and the vision room or vision.
Yeah, it's
talk
the
about
vision room that also comes up under the umbrella, and it's something that we've been doing, but we're doing it on a larger scale. This year, our first session at the Vision Room will be January 18th, and it's a quarterly meeting, group therapy, so to speak. We get together and we find the solutions. The year of the New Year's resolution is over.
It's over.
That's over. It's no longer a New Year's resolution. It is a vision. The New Year's resolution is just too overwhelming.
Right.
Okay, over the years in doing this, it wasn't enough room on the board, for this big expectation for the year. You would have had to have one for your spirit man. You would have had to have one for your family, for your career. And I kind of thought, I said, this is too much.
Now, people may not know what a vision board is, so
Yes.
let's talk about what is a vision board, because before you were right. Resolutions, I used to do resolutions. I have to submit to you, I have stopped.
Right.
Doing resolutions, I'm going to diet, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do this. And
Yeah.
for the first few weeks, I would start out exercising. I'm back on my exercise program, though. I would
Right.
start out exercising, and by the middle of the month, I done fell off. Stuff
Right.
started doing stuff. I done started doing other things and not
Yeah.
sticking to what I need to do.
Yeah.
So let's talk about how the vision board versus the resolution.
Okay, so the vision board is more biblical.
Okay.
Amen. Because God says to write the vision and make it plain.
All right.
All right. So what is before us? He says keep it in our eye gate and in our ear gate. So those that read it will run with it. Amen. So what we do is it's a collaboration of words and images of what it is that you want to do for the year.
For the whole year.
The whole year.
Right.
But what we do is we break it down into a more realistic approach. Okay, because what we'll do, and this is what I would suggest for someone who is just starting out with a vision board. What I would say is we have 4 months. We're going January 18th, we're going April 18th, we're going August 15th, and December 19th, which is the victory party. So put 4 things on the board to start with, and do 1 per month.
Okay, now this is what I want everybody to know. The vision board is like a big board.
Yes.
Paper board. And you write your visions down or your goals.
Yes, your
on
goals.
things that you want to accomplish.
That's correct.
During the year. Now, what makes yours more unique? I've been a part of vision boards.
Yes.
And most of the times we start in the beginning of the year and we don't come back until the end of the
No.
year to talk about what we have accomplished.
Right.
But sometimes you get caught up in the hustle and the bustle.
Yeah.
And what you have on your board, you have no accountability.
Right.
Nobody holding you accountable.
Exactly.
Or you not holding yourself accountable.
Yes.
To your own goals. So doing it quarterly.
Yes.
Will keep you on focus and on task.
Absolutely.
Of your goals and things that you need to accomplish.
That's correct.
Right.
That's
so
correct.
That's
So that's what makes it unique, is that we're not trying to look at the grand scheme of things because it's overwhelming.
Absolutely.
You know, and so so that's how we're doing it. We've been doing it like that for the last couple years, and it's been effective.
Right.
It's been really effective, and it like my whole life changed once I started living by my vision board. It's amazing how my life has changed. It's the blueprint.
Right.
You have a blueprint to follow. You know, you look at it and you says, oh my goodness, I'm not going to go back to the vision room and not have a praise report. I got to get this done because there's the accountability, there's the group therapy. We're all, encouraging one another to get it done. I don't care if it could read the book.
Right.
How about that? Read the book, go on the vacation.
Right.
Get the living room set. Paint the room. Just simple things like that. We're fighting procrastination.
Good.
Okay? And so it's a very effective program. We're going to have it at the Hampton Inn this year.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, Hampton Inn at 12 noon on those dates that I mentioned.
January
18th.
Will be the first one.
Yes, and at 12 noon. So everyone's invited. You'll actually see the flyer is actually complete, so we'll have that on social media. We're looking for a really nice turnout to, make a difference. This is a year of reconstruction.
Absolutely.
Amen. And it's strategic planning made simple.
I like it.
Yeah. And it's awesome. It's awesome. You'd be surprised. And I keep that board right in my kitchen. So every morning I have to see it. It's before my eye. And I say, oh, guess what? I got to get started on this. I got to get started on that. What do we got? A few more weeks. I got to get this done because I got to go back and I got to say, yeah, I accomplished it. So it's really exciting. And what is the most important part is the follow-up.
Right.
The follow-up. Because
I think that's the component that was missing.
Yes.
Because in the resolution, nobody really knows about it but you.
Exactly.
So no one can hold you accountable to your own, or you can't hold your own self accountable, because if you don't have it on paper.
That's right.
Then you don't have to say, okay, well, I'm going to do this. I'm going to lose 5 pounds. I'm going to walk. I'm going to get a new job. I'm going back to school. But when it's on paper. You constantly are looking at, and then you check it off.
That's right.
As you accomplish it. So that's great.
Get the insurance, whatever it is that you're supposed to be doing. Get your teeth fixed. I mean, as simple as that. Cut out a pair of teeth and put it on there. Amen.
Get your teeth fixed.
I'm telling you. And, I need a new one because I did all mine. So my last thing on there was my bedroom set. I got my bedroom set, and I waited because I wanted what I wanted. So sometimes you have the short-term goals, and then you have your long-term goals, and some of them may have to go from board to board, but that's okay. You got a whole year. At least you're working on it,
Yeah,
so,
I love it.
Yeah, it's amazing.
So
it is amazing.
Vision board. Now, I have participated in the vision board before.
Yes.
Now, I have to admit, I hate to admit it, but I have to admit I didn't stay on task like I should have. But 2020 is a new year.
New year.
And so ending the year strong. It's starting 2020, putting my visions down, making it plain on what I want, and then checking it off and to accomplish it. I have accomplished goals.
Yes.
But I haven't accomplished everything that I had on the board because you get busy, sidetracked.
Get back up again.
You got to get back up and keep doing what you need to do for a better year.
Yes, absolutely.
And a better person, a better me.
Yes.
You got to, sometimes people are so concerned about everybody else that they do nothing for themselves.
Yeah.
But the vision boards make you focus on yourself. It doesn't make you selfish, but it makes you look at what are you doing personally to empower yourself.
Yes.
To make yourself better.
Yeah.
So that's fantastic.
Yeah.
It's fantastic. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. Follow up is the key.
Follow up.
Follow up.
Right. Not just writing it.
Nope. And if you didn't do it, then you just do the same one all over again. Come back and get encouraged again, to get it done. It's okay.
Exactly.
But we have something to go by and not just living aimlessly and, all over the place. We are focused and we're doing it on purpose.
That's good.
Yeah.
Intentionally. We're being intentional.
And obtainable. It's obtainable, yeah.
Yeah, so I really like that. And that's the new component to God's gift.
Yes.
Is the vision
room.
So and you'll be doing it. So now when you say vision room, do you make your own vision room, or the vision room is coming to Hampton Inn?
That's correct.
It's coming to Hampton Inn.
That's correct. And I'll also be introducing the Destiny Place.
Okay.
Okay, so it's bigger and better, and I'm very excited to present it.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, we're winding down on this. It has gone so fast, but we want to just recap what we're talking about. So January the 18th.
Yes.
At which Hampton Inn?
At Hampton Inn in Absecon.
In Absecon.
Yes, at 12 noon.
At 12 noon, and this is open to the public.
Yes.
And you can come. Do you bring your own supplies or?
No, we will have the supplies and a light refreshment. It will be a $15 donation to cover that cost.
All right.
Yes.
To cover all the supplies.
Yes.
Okay, so that's good. The boards and everything.
The boards, the food, everything.
Okay, that's not bad.
Not at all.
All right, so $15 is a minimal charge.
Yes.
People spend more than that on a pizza.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
So, so that's on. Count me in. I'm looking forward to being there to make sure that my vision is written down and being held accountable.
We're going to make it happen, absolutely.
I'm going to make it happen in 2020.
That's correct.
And so we're finishing the year strong, talking about things that we need to do on the coming. If you want to accomplish something, you got to have some goals.
Yeah.
You have to have some goals.
Absolutely.
You can't just exist and live.
That's
you
right.
got to have some goals to make things, accomplish things.
You have to have a plan.
You got to have a plan.
Yeah.
All right? And you got a plan. Have to have a plan, and you got to plan with the plan.
That's right.
All right? And we got to do it intentionally.
Yes.
So, Melissa, we're going to start with you for a few seconds. What would you like to leave with my listening audience?
I want everybody to have a great new year. We're throwing away the New Year's resolution, and we're going to do something more permanent and more accountable. Let's hold ourselves accountable. I would love to see you at the Vision Room. If you're not coming to the Vision Room, I hope that you can do it at home with your family. It is such a great thing to do. Make your goals, set it in stone, and hold yourself accountable. Amen.
All right. President Dante, thank you. President Dante Holly?
I would just like to say thank you once again, the Hoskins families and Thelma Witherspoon for inviting us up to speak today. The thing I'd like to leave with everybody is just, everyone just remain humble, keep God first.
Yes.
And no matter what you're trying to accomplish, no matter what anyone's saying, just do a little bit each day and, you'll accomplish it. Never let up at all. You'll regret it. So just, stay in, what did it say? Stay encouraged.
Stay encouraged.
Stay encouraged, and don't listen to the haters.
Don't listen to the haters. All right, Grace Carpali.
Yes, I would like to say a very happy New Year to everyone. This is the year of reconstruction. Be encouraged, and we're very grateful and thankful that we had this opportunity.
All right. Well, we thank you so much. I had someone to ask. Stella DeShields, what is Destiny Place? I think you have to come to the...
Yes, you do.
You have to come to the Vision Room to find that out.
Absolutely.
So that's just to get you out, not to get you out there, but I can't tell it all.
Right.
We got to save some information. Listen, This is going to be a fantastic year coming up. I'm looking for 2020. Listen, don't quit, because a quitter never wins.
That's right.
And a winner never quits.
That's
so
right.
no matter what you're going through, you're going to stay focused, stay on point, stay on vision. You can go to God's Gift every second and fourth Thursdays from 10 to 2. If you need food, if you need clothing, and it's not junk, whatever you want to need is there, and it is available, and you will feel just like a family. You won't feel like, ashamed.
Welcome.
You will feel welcome being at this event. So certainly, again, don't forget WEHA as this is the last week to vote for us to be on the Stella in the small market category as the radio station. We want to bring another Stella back home to South Jersey. So we need you to go to www.wehavegospel.com and click vote. Boom. That's all you got to do. All right. Period. That's all you got to do. I learned that down in Georgia. I didn't know the young people was doing that. Period. All right. Just cock your head over. All right. Did you enjoy our program today? I know you did. Thanks for tuning in to In the Community with Dr. Thelma Witherspoon right here on your favorite gospel radio station, WEHA Gospel, 88.7, 100.3 FM. We have gospel. Keep those dials locked to WEHA.